All right, the latest news break coming in on one rank, one pension. Well, the word filtering in is that the government is all set to announce one rank, one pension today. Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar is likely to hold a press conference at 3 p.m. at South Block. The announcement on OROP is likely to be made in this press conference. Senior government sources have said that the centre is not going to wait for the veterans to agree on all matters, as an agreement is right now clearly not in sight. The government is keen on pushing ahead with its promise before the Model Code of Conduct for Bihar kicks in next week, hoping that the final one rank, one pension formula will be acceptable to a majority of veterans. I want to cut across to our managing editor, Rahul Kamal, breaking this news on headlines today on India Today. Rahul, would you take us through the very latest coming in? 3 p.m. is when the Defence Minister will make that announcement. Now, even though at a time where the formula has not entirely been accepted by all veterans.
The government has thought this through at the highest levels, and time is frankly now running out because the Bihar elections will be announced early next week, and the government fears that unless this announcement is made over this weekend, there may be no window of opportunity till after the elections, and they wish to delay this no further. They have now reached the conclusion that forming a consensus on every issue is almost impossible. Therefore, they wish to proceed with the formula that they've worked out, which we broke on India Today yesterday in the afternoon. And they believe that this will be acceptable to a majority of the veterans. Government sources at the highest levels have told India Today that several people, not just in Delhi, but outside Delhi as well, have been calling the government and telling them that they're okay with the one rank, one pension formula and that they don't agree with the people who are still out in protest. The government fears that, this is getting politically vitiated, that some of the veterans who are holding out could be doing so at the behest of other political parties, and therefore they feel that if a majority of the veterans are indeed on their side, they will go ahead. And the broad formula is as follows, Preeti. First and foremost, 2013 will be the base year. One rank, one pension will be calculated as the average of the maximum and the minimum of any pay grade. So the maximum minimum divided by 2 is how one rank, one pension will be calculated, and this will be rolled out with effect from 1 July 2014. The logic being that the veterans were asking for 1 April 2014. The government came to power on the 26th of May 2014. So within a month and a week of the Modi government coming to power, the BJP will send the message that the promise of one rank, one pension was fulfilled.
Rahul, at this point of time, how is it that the government is going to put forth the perception that it is acceptable to our veterans, keeping in mind September 12th, that mega rally organized, at least that's what they're saying, that they're going to, it'll be a show of strength where the veterans are concerned against the current formula?
Even when this announcement was made yesterday and our correspondents were present at the Jantar Mantar, there were some veterans who, of course, were unhappy with the fact that the government hasn't accepted every one of their demands. But there were several others who said that a majority of our demands have been accepted. The formula is broadly what we wanted. Yes, it's not entirely what the veterans had asked for, but in no negotiation can either side walk away with 100%. That's why you have a negotiation, that's why you have compromise, that's why you have resolution. Without that, there never will be any resolution to any problem. The government's calculation is that a few of the veterans who are holding out will be gradually isolated, and a majority of the veterans who are more reasonable will accept that the government has fulfilled a promise that has been a problem since 1973, since the Third Pay Commission. This has been a problem, and finally, now that the demand is being met, this is a good thing. It should be appreciated, and it's time to move on. The government hopes that that will be the majority sense amongst the veterans. See, the problem here, Preeti, is not just about logistics. It's not about calculating whether or not salaries can be revised every year. The problem is about precedence. In all the paramilitary forces, whether it's the Border Security Force, the CRPF, the CISF, pensions are revised once every 10 years in consonance with the Pay Commission, and that's exactly the way it is with all civilian services as well. The government is petrified about the possibility that once one rank, one pension is made a reality, all different departments of the government will say, you've done it for the army, why don't you do it for us? The BSF, for example, serves in areas which are adjacent to where the army serves. They're serving under equally tough conditions, whether it's in the high altitudes or whether it's in Poonch, Rajouri, a little lower down than, very close to the line of control. So if they're serving in similar conditions, they're doing the same kind of work, why should they be paid lesser? Why should their pensions be revised with lesser frequency? That's a very bona fide question. How does a government deal with that? Why are you giving one son something and not giving the other son something? That's a question the government will have no answer to when they are. And I was told by a very senior official that this is a highly inflammable situation which can go out of hand, and therefore the government needs to ensure that it keeps the bigger picture in mind. At least that's the way the government is looking at this.
All right. Appreciate you joining us, Rahul. What we're going to do is keep coming back to you. So as our managing editor, Rahul Kaval, pointing out, 3 p.m. is what we are looking at, an official announcement that would be made in South Block by the Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar. What we are also going to do now is that I'm going to cut across to Govt, who's joining us, and he'll explain to our viewers that what are the demands of our veterans and what have been fulfilled till now.
Let's take a look at the government draft. First, the veterans demanded implementation of OROP, one rank, one pension, from the 1st of April 2014. The government said we're ready to implement it from July 2014, and the veterans have said we're okay with that. Remember, this is slight politics because the government does not want to give OROP when the UPA was in power, but when NDA took over. The veterans are okay. The veterans demand that 2014 should be the base year for calculation of one rank, one pension. The government says December 2013, practically 2014 will be the base year. They see eye to eye on that. It's the third issue. Pension revision should happen either every year or at the most every 2 years. That is what the veterans say. The government says that's not possible. That is a nightmare. The government says a review will happen every 5 years, and the veterans say that is strictly unacceptable. The veterans also say all ex-soldiers should come under the ambit of one rank, one pension. Everyone who's completed 21 years of service. The government says not those who've sought voluntary retirement. They will not get one rank, one pension benefit. Apart from that, OROP areas should be given in one installment. The government says it's 8,500 crore rupees, has to be divided among 17 lakh plus veterans. We'll pay it in 4 half-yearly installments. There can be meeting ground on this. And finally, as far as the veterans are concerned, they are very strict about it. They insist it has to be every 2 years. Pensions have to be reviewed. The government says it's only 40 rupees per month. That is the difference that will come. 500 rupees per year. If you calculate for 17 lakh plus veterans, it's going to be a nightmare. Let us do it every 5 years. It's your money. It'll come into your account.